Announced that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about Bitcoin and how it already did what we said yesterday. It already completed its first reversal pattern, and that is of course something we are going to look at, as well as some other fundamentals around this that confirm that we are going to go back up and to a new all-time high. And we are also going to look quickly into Dogecoin, VeChain, and Ecomy, as there are a couple of things to talk about as well. So make sure to stay all the way through. So good morning to each and every one of you. Here we are at the Bitcoin chart on the daily, and we do see that our bounce that we highlighted on the bull market support band is actually continuing. We are up 6.3% since then, and we did complete the small inverse head and shoulder pattern that we spotted here on the daily chart, which looks more or less like this, right? And we broke out of that pattern, not meaning that we will not come back to retest this level at 112,500 or so before we head higher, but it really seems that we have ourselves a nice reversal here into the next economic data that we are going to get today. So yesterday PPI came way better than expected, in the sense that the market reacted bullish. So today we are hoping that the inflation rate comes in way better than expected. This is going to happen today, and if the forecasts are a little bit off to the bearish side, then we are good here. So that is going to happen, and it should bring us over the time back to 123,000, as we have been establishing this as a range, then lost it, and now we're back in. So this is still valid, right? This range between 112,400 and 123,500 is where I expect us to move in and encounter the new resistance only somewhere up there, right? So I think that's going to happen. Guys, make sure to smash up the like button if you enjoy quick updates here on what's going on. And we do have the new SEC chair here, Paul Atkins, quickly for us to listen in what's going on, what is coming next. Okay, so check this out.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, we must admit that crypto's time has come. For too long, the SEC has weaponized its investigatory subpoena and enforcement authorities to subvert the crypto industry. That approach was not only ineffective, but injurious. It drove jobs, innovation, and capital overseas. American entrepreneurs bore the brunt and have been forced to spend fortunes on building a legal defense instead of a business. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we must admit that crypto's time.
Let the initial roll again. It was a little bit quiet, but it's also because the videos sometimes are super quiet when they're taken. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we must admit that crypto's time has come. I mean, this is the chair of the SEC, and so basically the guy that is going to see where you have to regulate, where not, right? Everything that people wanted from Gary Gensler the 4 years before, and that made our bear market so cruel. Now he says that he himself says that the SEC went unjust and with methods that didn't work after the crypto project and so on. So really good to hear this. Seems that we could achieve regulation of the crypto space in a very good way that is then more or less set in stone, so that the next administration cannot just revert this stuff, right? So that is good. And then one thing that I wanted to point out as well about the Bitcoin supply is that we do have a new low in the OTC desk balance. And I want to read the text because it's funny. Can you spot the difference in OTC Bitcoin balances? No, it's very difficult to spot the Bitcoin when everything is marked in red circles here. But the difference is, look, these are in black, these are the Bitcoin prices of basically of all times, or at least of the not all times, but the last 2 cycles before this cycle. And we did see that the OTC balances shoot up when the top is reached. And here we see it again, right? The top comes in, OTC balances higher. So basically, what does it mean? But people are loading, especially whales, Bitcoin onto OTC desks more and more to take profits here, right? And today we don't see it, right? We are already at 112,000 right now. We have reached 123,000, and we don't really see the OTC desk balance to tick up again. And this is just one more argument on hey, maybe we are not so far progressed in the cycle as we usually are, right? Or as we should be already time-wise. But maybe from the money supply, we are not that far progressed, and therefore we did not see this. Plus, we have institutional absorption at these prices, big time, of all Bitcoin, and actually the OTC desks are not able to supply this, which means if the OTC desks are not able to supply this, that means that the price needs to be negotiated to the upside, right? Because at some point, you need to say, okay, I give you 10,000 more per Bitcoin if do we make a deal here, right? And there's no, okay, another 10,000 more, and so on, right? That's what's happening every day on the markets. And today the agreed price is 114,300 at the moment. Not only 112, but 114,300 at the moment is the agreed price that Bitcoin is traded on the exchanges. Meaning, of course, if the supply is getting lower and lower and lower. On the other side, while the supply is dropping, the monetary expansion is continuing. We do have a new rise year over year in July of monetary supply from 9.3% on this giga trillion supply, 10% uptick. This metric covers 169 countries and territories, representing 99% of global GDP. Since the beginning of the year, money supply in US dollars has jumped by 10 trillion. World money supply has risen by a massive 40 trillion since 2020. Okay, this represents a compound annual growth rate of 7%. Global liquidity surging, or in other words, that confirms more or less that we need to either get salary increases of at least 7% per year, or or we lose purchasing power, right? Or we need to have all our money converted into investments that yield at least 7% per year, right? Which is why people are going into stock market, where the average return on these MSCI World and so on is roughly 8%, whereas S&P 500 Nasdaq yield more than that, right? So you want to expand your money, you need to be in investments, right? Because there is almost no regular employer that will give you 8% each year or 7% each year, right? That is not realistic. It's cool, but it's not realistic. Let's see. But with that, let's welcome quickly the one rare hodler that at least that is in the chat right now. Puka Jortrich, morning my hodler brothers. Top of the morning to you, PH. Hope everyone is good. To you as well, and each and every one of you, smash up the like buttons right now, even if you're not subscribed to the Rare Hodler fam. If you want, you can do it. There's one Rare Hodler tier. If you did it, get in touch with me. You will be added to the Rare Hodler group on Telegram, and everyone else, obviously also welcoming everyone else to the stream, going back directly here. We do have Björn here saying, I can feel it in my pants. It's bananas. Okay. Altcoin season index is at 76. Yeah, altcoins are going up. Divine the Thing also here, awesomeness redefined. We do have Bernard Donaldson saying, GMPH, loving the live stream. I've got my coffee too. Have a great day. I noticed the alt season indicator is hovering at 68. VeChain pump soon. Exactly. Altcoin season is gearing up. Bernard Johnson also says, hit the likes, guys. So if you didn't do it yet, shame on you. Unless you're driving, then you don't do it. JW, good morning to you as well. Chris Klein, long time no see. What's going on? Hello, sir. How have you been? Been a while. Life has been a bit hectic. Had to move and things got rough, but hopefully good now. Sounds like the market. Yeah, exactly. But good that everything worked out. Good to hear from you again. Yay, I'm still Wolverine. Yes, you are, but not for long if your name doesn't turn green. Exactly. Green Lantern, also good to you. GMPH, GM fam. JW says, VeChain is lagging. Do you think it will pump? Yes, I do. Absolutely. I do think it will pump. And VeChain has a history of violent pumps. I think it will pump big time. Can we have a look at total 3? Absolutely, Björn. Absolutely. Green Lantern is about to drive to the hamster wheel, present, paying attention, and like the stream. Thank you very much. Yes. So let's do that as well. So just keep in mind, gold, right? Rise. We are not going to go deep in this today. We did it yesterday. Yesterday we discussed a lot of gold. Let's talk instead quickly about total 2 and total 3, right? So total 2 with Ethereum but without Bitcoin, and total 3 without. And look at this. Total 2 is actually, yeah, it's completed the pattern. Now we need the breakout for good, right? So on the monthly we are green, we are complete, we are at 1.63 trillion, so already slightly above. This massive cup and handle pattern is going to break out to the upside very, very soon, very likely, okay? So on the weekly we see we had a small rejection, but we are here back again, and it's only a matter of time, probably on the rate cut, maybe a little bit later. Now let's get Ethereum out of the equation, and also here we see it's not much, but it's not closed yet. It's not as high as with Ethereum, but basically same setup as we see here, with this trend intact and so on. Everything looks perfect for a breakout. We did not yet break out, but everything looks perfect for the breakout. And this is also something where we might say, hey, maybe this cycle, in the cycle driven by monetary expansion, we do have a little bit of offset, right, towards a prolonged cycle, because we are barely closing here in on all-time high. We haven't broken it yet, so new all-time high coming in very, very likely in the crypto market, right? So total 3 looks to only a couple of percent left to finish this pattern as well, which makes absolute sense that total 2 moves faster than total 3, right? What is your realistic top for VeChain this cycle? I'd say back to all-time high and then some. I do have a, let's say, bullish target. Let's go into it here. These are my targets for VeChain. Let's go into it. These are my targets for VeChain. For profit taking, but also like this is the bullish target, 45 cents. For like exuberant mega rally to the upside. And maybe I'm wrong on that. I like to be wrong on that to the upside, right? But usually we see that the price targets that are proclaimed in a bull market are not coming to fruition, right? And VeChain is just curving out of its, let's say, consolidation here to the upside, small, very slightly in the green. So I think VeChain will reach 20 cents for sure. That would be an 8x from here. I do think it will challenge its all-time high, which would be at 27 cents. And then we will see, right? I mean, we have to see a little bit when we are breaking these resistances here and go to 20 cents, where we are indicator-wise and where we are in the cycle and so on. So it's not that easy to just sit here and say, this is the target, right? If we do a straight pump here, encounter resistance and so on, it's different than if we curve out to this and don't even have overheated indicators, right? And this is something that remains to be seen, as we do see some things are different this cycle, confirmed, right? Hey Bodo, good morning to you as well. I mean, it's always difficult to say, oh yeah, this time is different. But this cycle, we already saw some things that were different, fundamentally different from others. And then things that people said are going to be different, they were not, right? So you remember, for example, there was the narrative of the left translated cycle, right? And that's definitely not true, right? It was just because we did pump into, in Bitcoin, let's get into the monthly so we can see it a little bit better. In Bitcoin, we did pump early into the halving, right? Here we see it. And that was unusual. So everyone was like, this left translated cycle. But then we got 7 months of sideways downward consolidation in our face, and everyone said this time we're going to top out with a triple top, and this actually is a cycle. So everything of that was wrong. And so we don't know yet how this evolves, but it sure looks from all indicators that we're not done here, right? All indicators are saying we're not done. And now the altcoins are having a better time, as we are coming up here with Pump and Mantle leading the charge today with 11 and 21%, as well as Hex. The rest of the market somewhere between 2 and 10%. And this is just some altcoin recovery. If we are looking on the weekly return, we still see that Mix Finance is still going nuts, 1,500% plus. We do see that other coins have almost doubled, like WorldCoin has doubled, Memecore has more than doubled before, Mantle is up 50% and so on. So a lot of altcoins are already doing well. And of course, that sets then the scene to say, hey, why is VeChain only here with 4.7% on the week, right? Yeah, well, it's not the only one. Uniswap is here with 5% only, right? We do have Arbitrum with 5% only, Algorand with 5% only, Solana 7%, right? So CurveDAO, Aero, XRP, right? Radium only 3% and so on. It's Chainlink also small. It's just a matter of what's in the spotlight right now, and at some point it will be the RWA story. And when RWA story is in the in this thing, VeChain will pump with it as they're playing this fiddle. at which point you would say that the 4-year cycle is broken. I would only say it once we are coming into a territory of, what is it, like beyond December, and we still gearing up to new highs. I would just look at when the cycle is definitely over and then assess the cycle. I think there's no value in determining whether it's broken or not right now, as this is highly speculative. Yeah. I mean, we do have our halving here, which is not so different than what happened here, pumping into the halving, just not that much, right? The 4-year cycle, the 4-year cycle is only the 4-year cycle if this cycle is completed in 4 years again. And I think what is calculated here is halving to halving, not necessarily top to top and so on. Because we did see it here as well, right? 2 tops. How many days are we in from here to here? 1,400 days until now, since the last top. That's more than 4 years, right? Wait a second. 365 times 4, that's 1,200, and then 1,400. It's slightly below that 4 years, right? So ADA, yeah. 1 second. I will not have that much time today, unfortunately, but we can look at this. I want to quickly talk about Ecomi as well, as I have it in the spotlight, but I will pull up ADA here quickly. Same thing. I highlighted this many times. What we see in this market, especially for the coins that are around longer, is that you basically have a setup that looks like this, similar to what you see in Total 2 and Total 3, a cup and handle formation. In this case, for ADA, it's a little bit weird because most coins have their cup and handle formation, something like this. But here it's from this resistance, already encountering resistance at 1.1. It needs to break this first to then challenge the all-time high. So I would even argue that ADA is a little bit behind everything else, or not everything else. I mean, the Ethereum oriented coins like VeChain and so on, they are also struggling right now. The 4-year cycle is bottom to bottom, not top to top. That's a little bit weird statement, because if it's the 4-year cycle, bottom, halving, and top should align on a 4-year scale, right? So that is debatable, right? But okay. Because if otherwise you would basically say in your statement that you cannot determine the top on a 4-year cycle. Thank me later. Go watch the charts. 3 years, 11 months, give or take a few months. Yeah. I'm going to take this and thank you later. Okay, so the that's when TGE bottom comes in. TGE, what do you mean by TGE? TGE, what does it mean? Anyways, I wanted to quickly talk about Ecomi and the burns, right? We are continuing to hold this level. Very interesting stuff. We dropped down here and now we are creeping sideways for a week or so. That's when the bottom comes in. Okay. 3 years and 11 months from here, or what? Does that make sense what you're just saying? Because or you mean from top 3 years and 11 months. Is that what you're saying? So Ecomi is sitting here on that, and we do have some news here for Ecomi, and that is the September 8 numbers on the burn. So 600,000 ohms burned, 278 transactions with Omi, and a 1 million 3-day average burn. Total stacker burned so far 71.6 million. Omi tokens, which is quite good. It seems that there is a that there is an analytics side for that, which I did not yet. Either that or this guy just made an Excel. But 71 million seems to be okay-ish as stacker burns ramping up. The 100 million mark will definitely be interesting. We do have Ethan here. Hi, patient. We're waiting for the whales to make their move on Omi or waiting for the narrative to hit. Even if the narrative hits and whales are buying, doing something else, what happens? If when the narrative hits, then whales want to be in position. The narrative is starting to ramp up. We see it here, big fat volume. I think the whales did make a move here actually. Now the question is, will we put in a higher low here so that we structurally have something like this, right? Where we can say, okay, this is a confirmed turnaround. And for now, it looks pretty good. It's exactly what we wanted to see, that we hold another level and we're not dropping down into the abyss of this coin, right? So that is one thing. The other thing is that burns, if they are increasing, it will fuel the narrative on its own for the coin. Then there's another thing, how do you get whales in? You could there is a theory how you could leverage also other cryptocurrencies and still have Omi burning, but it would sacrifice Omi as the main currency, which is like, hey, let whales buy NFTs on ETH or with ETH, and then the fees are burned in the background by in Omi, right? Deducting a little bit from ETH, convert it into Omi, burn that Omi, right? That is a model that would burn Omi, but on the other side, you are risky, or you're running the risk that Omi is then not important anymore to the ecosystem, which would be a little bit of a bummer, right? So question is, will they do this or not, right? But for now, as Tracking says, when the masses come into VV burns will be wild. But for that, the masses need to adopt the stacker version of buying with Omi, which is not a problem in itself. I think it's the right choice to cater to the crypto market, as more and more people will be able to do that. We did see that giving the retail user something easy to handle not necessarily makes retail enter, right? A0 recovery, don't miss it. Nice. Protagonist, Algorand moving to US, that's also good to as they see regulatory environment, right? Salus in collaboration with IOTA aims to revolutionize this landscape by introducing real-time tracking and verification shipments. Nice, also cool. It's going to be a good runner for maybe the next week. Charlie Kirk token is a good one to watch, you say. Okay, interesting. Guys, unfortunately today we have to end it abruptly as I have to head out to the hamster wheel early, but I still wanted to get the stream out to show you that the turnaround is already happening. We're very, very likely headed higher, very likely heading to new all-time highs very soon. We have 6 days, we have inflation data today, so keep that in mind at roughly 2:30 CET, and then we do have in 6 days the Fed interest rate decision, probably 25 basis point cut, and then we'll see how the market really acts. And we will keep our finger at the pulse here with the daily live streams or almost daily live streams. And so I may ask you right now to smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel, notifications on, and wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon, and I see you in the next one.